Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. Today we received new inflation data. Someone yesterday said they were miserable because I only rang the bell 2 times instead of 3. There you go. Market bell is wrong. But is the inflation data good? Is Powell pleased with it? Let's talk about it. And let's talk about Bitcoin's rise today. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Today, Bitcoin got a little jolt, just a little bit, due to the inflation data. U.S. market is about to open in the green, slightly. Okay, breaking news. Let's close that. Let's talk about this. Inflation went up by 4.9% in April, okay, versus a year ago. Here's the thing. Everything compared to a year ago doesn't look good because last year we were still like kind of climbing. As time goes on, as we pass July, because July was like the peak of inflation in 2022. So after we pass July, all these headlines should be getting better, showing that we are actually lower than last year, right? But the key thing is, do we go down month to month? So this is measuring April. We went down from 5% to 4.9%. So that's good, 0.1% difference. That's headline inflation. That's measuring everything. What about core inflation? Core inflation went down slightly at 5.5%. So is this good news or not good news? Well, overall, I would say it's still good news. You could see starting from December, we were at 7.1% and then 6.5%, 6.4, 6, 5. Going from February to March, big drop, 1% drop. And this time around, only 0.1. And forecast was 5%. So we beat expectations. That's good. But the thing is, we only dropped down 0.1%. Okay, so is that a cause for concern? Because we know Powell said he doesn't want to do any more rate hikes. He did, though. He did. So this doesn't take into account the rate hike he just did, the 25 basis points, right? So with this latest rate hike, it could push us further down. But what we don't want to see is this inflation data reading in the future stay stagnant and just go sideways or tick upwards. That would be very, very bad. Okay, so that's what we don't want to see. But right now, I think it's good. Now, if you look at overall core versus headline, and you may be wondering what's the difference, one just discounts energy and food, and it kind of shows you the actual inflation of like services and goods, and one takes into account energy and food, right? So that's the difference. But you could see, obviously, we have come back down from a high of 9% down to 4.9%. That's not too shabby. Obviously, the rate hikes have been working. Core inflation, though, not so much. Not so much. We did come down from a high of 6.6%, but now we're kind of hovering at that 5.5%. And we're not really moving. So if you dig through the numbers like I have, for hours upon hours before the stream. No, I'm just kidding. But if you look at this column right here in April, you'll see that the only things that really went down, again, relate to energy, right? Like energy services right here, you could see minus 1.7%. Okay, above it, fuel oil down 4.5%. And then you have a big one right here, which is utility gas service down 4.9%. Okay, so again, everything relating to energy. But if you look at a lot of the other things that we buy, for example, I don't know, apparel, okay, clothes, 0.3% higher. Medical care commodities, 0.5% higher. Shelter, 0.4% higher. Okay. These are, a few categories, but ultimately it shows that a lot of goods are still going up. Look at this one. Commodities, less food and energy, right? This is basically stuff that we're buying, 0.6%. So that's the thing. Yes, overall headline inflation is going down mostly due to like energy getting cheaper once again, but the price of goods hasn't really moved at all. In fact, they're still kind of trending upwards. So that's the situation we're in right now, right? Like, you guys know, if you go grocery shop, you go to restaurant, hey, those prices are not coming down, all right? Just because CPI inflation is going down, it does not mean you go to a restaurant tomorrow or today and you see things 5% cheaper. No, that's not how it works. Everything has gone up. Grocery shopping is like double the price versus like a year or two ago. And you go out to eat, it's like double the price versus like 2 years ago, right? Used cars, new cars, still in demand, still very elevated. Homes are still elevated. Rent is still elevated. I mean, everything is still elevated. So on paper, this looks good. On paper, this looks good. But in reality, things are still very expensive. Have not really, I don't know about you guys, I have not noticed much from 9.0% to 5% now, or 4.9%. I have not noticed any discounts while I'm shopping, right? So that's the reality. But the good thing is, it makes the Wall Street traders feel a little bit better about being more bullish. That's the good thing. You can see today starting to turn more green, right? It's getting the traders to feel more comfortable about us maybe not falling into a deeper recession because Powell no longer has to raise rates, right? So that's making him feel good. But remember, we still have this nasty debt ceiling issue going on in the U.S. Are we going to solve that? What about if we hear about another bank or two going under, right? How is that going to affect things? So we still have a lot of question marks. But first things first, at least we got this over with. Tomorrow, though, there's another inflation reading, PPI inflation reading. So it should come similar. It should come in similar to this. Basically, we're about even, tick down a little bit, right? But, elevated inflation is still here. Powell wants to get to 2%, 3%. He says 2%. I think it's going to be impossible to get back down to 2% at this rate. Energy can only go down so much. If everything else still elevated, getting down to 2% is going to be extremely, extremely hard. So maybe in the future FOMC meetings, he could say, well, our target rate is now 3%. Right, or 4%. I don't think he's going to say 4%. I think he is going to change his language to 2 to 3%. And if that's the case, okay, at least 3% is more reasonable, because 2%, I just don't see how we're going to go down to 2% from here. I mean, it's not enough. But that's why we're all in Bitcoin. There's a lot of macro issues that Powell has to figure out and try to solve, even though he said recently, hey, if the U.S. defaults, don't expect the Fed, aka me, to solve things, okay? He said that flat out. He's like, the U.S. defaults and we don't raise the debt ceiling, Armageddon's coming. And U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen also said the same thing too. Now, it could be a scare tactic, obviously, from both sides to try to scare Congress into raising the debt ceiling, right? But in reality, that's the truth, because if we default as a country, it would be financial Armageddon, okay? But again, that's why we're in Bitcoin. And that's why retail accumulation now is exceeding the monthly production. And of course, this makes sense. This is the reason why Bitcoin goes up, because you have more buyers than sellers, and there's not enough supply, right? There's only so many, I believe 900 Bitcoins get produced per day. 900. And if you think about all the banks and financial apps and the Michael Saylors of the world, right, including the miners also, that are just buying and hoarding, there's really I would argue, very little new Bitcoins, ones that have no transactions hitting the market. Everything that you're trading, right, has a history basically, because all the new ones are just taken up. That's why, like, supply, even though it seems like there's more Bitcoin coming to circulation, there really isn't. It's all taken, spoken for. So everyone's fighting for what exists now. Just think about that. Just think about that. If any other industry, like the oil industry or the gold industry, fishing industry, whatever industry, announces that, hey, we're going to run out for sure within the next 10, 20 years, think about how much the price of those industries, right? The prices within those industries will go up and skyrocket by, right? And Bitcoin, we already know. It's already set in code, yet people are just not paying attention. But yeah, so that's why you see a lot of positions under 1, okay, and above 1, above 10, above 100, just keeps going up and up and up and up and up, because people that do understand that concept, that Bitcoin is scarce and has a limited supply and we won't have infinite amount of it, well, they're the ones that are stocking up. It's just that simple, right? And as for Bitcoin's price target or trajectory, right now a lot of people are still aiming for that 50 to 60K mark, thinking that we will have a parabolic rise up to those levels. Very similarly, like in 2019, when we finally broke out of 3,000 and we kind of trended upwards a little bit towards 6,000-ish, and then boom, we had a huge spike up to 14,000 before retracing down a little bit. Many people think that we are going to see the same situation. We came up from 15,000, right? Now we're right at that cusp where we can suddenly go up, boom, in the same manner, end up around 50 to 60,000, and then retracing a little bit back down before we get ready for 2024 and the halving event. So there are still a lot of traders that think this is going to come, and it's going to come much faster than people think, because that's what happened in 2019 as well. Right? But long term, this is what we have to look forward to, right? We are still moving in the right direction, which is up, up to the right. It may take some time, and people are always finding different fractal patterns. And this one is like, within a logarithmic growth curve, right? You kind of see a curve like that. And every single time we touch the top of the curve. And where's the top of the curve showing in 2025? Well, according to this, it's somewhere between 250,000 and 300,000. That's the top of the curve. So that may be in the works. I mean, so far, if you look at the last 3 cycles, it hit the curve. It hit the curve. So looking pretty good. I spoke about miners. There's some FUD again in the U.S. I mean, besides Gary Gensler, the White House is also causing FUD. Supposedly, they're talking about taxing miners 30% based on energy usage, regardless if they are profitable or not. That's absolutely bonkers. And I don't know if it's like legit or not, but there's supposed to be some talks. But that's why a lot of miners are now trying to get ready for that. We know there's a lot of states that are very pro Bitcoin mining. They have enacted law that says you can't not Bitcoin mine. You can't kick them out, right? They have legal rights to mine. And there's many states that are like that. But in case the White House or Congress goes nutty and enforces the stupid tax, well, people don't want to. They want to hedge their bets, so to speak, right? They don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. So like someone like Marathon is actually going to Abu Dhabi to power their first large-scale liquid cooling Bitcoin mining farm. And unfortunately, this will continue to happen if the U.S. continues to cause FUD around Bitcoin mining, around crypto in general, self-custody, everything around it, right? There's just so much FUD, and You know, I don't quite get it. I do kind of get it, and I kind of don't get it. I get that, you know, the U.S., along with all these other countries, want to protect their own bank. They want to protect their central bank, in our case, the Fed, and of course, the many, many banks that operate. So I kind of get it from that perspective. But, you know, driving out innovation to other countries is not what we want. We don't want all the brightest people that are creating the next-gen Web3 games and dApps and everything else to move abroad. I mean, that's just stupid. So hopefully we don't end up like that. And then lastly, I think that's pretty much it. I saw this article. Ethereum validators earn a record 46 million. Okay, as staking rewards surge, but also let's not forget high congestion right now because of the meme coins, right? It's not just on Bitcoin, it's on Ethereum as well. Every transaction is like $20 or $30. It's expensive. These guys are making a ton, but also it is causing an insane burn right now with Ethereum, right? Minus 2.8% within the last 7 days, and will continue to be this aggressive if, you know, memes are still strong, or if alts start, you know, getting strong. But man, that's a lot of ETH burned in a very short amount of time. Uh-oh. Dow is turning red. That's no good. That's no good. But Bitcoin is still holding up about $600 today, so that's decent. But maybe Wall Street is starting to realize that the inflation reading wasn't all that good. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, scrolling down from the top. Ashley, I just read what you wrote. That's pretty funny. Can the Fed cut rates in June? They could, but they're not going to. That's way too soon. There were talks about how the Fed can cut in September, but we don't know if that's true. If things get worse, then of course they're not going to cut. But if things get better, meaning inflation continues to go down, then yeah, they could cut. But you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Also, it depends a lot on economic numbers like retail sales, wholesale numbers, housing numbers. You know, they will affect things a lot. Jobless claims, unemployment rate. Josh Marks, welcome. Morris, George, I have a friend telling me it's profitable to trade USDT. What is your opinion? I would say it's very hard, but I think you could do so. Like Curve. Curve is a DEX for stablecoins, and some of the stablecoins, maybe they move a penny or you know, a few less than a penny. I mean, I'm sure you could utilize bots or whatever and find some kind of, you know, trading opportunity, and you have to do a lot. I mean, I'm sure it could be done, Whether or not it's worth your time or really profitable, that's another story. Please pump Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin got a little boost today, not the biggest boost, because this reading, honestly, okay, it's better than expectation, but really, if you dive into the numbers, commodities, goods didn't really go down. So that's the thing, you know. Food also didn't really go down. So basically, it's still very expensive. That's the bottom line. Is just still very expensive. What's the best thing for BTC Network moving forward to handle congestion and throughput? To embrace Lightning Network. That's it. Get all the exchanges and wallets to use Lightning Network, then users are not going to be hit with the high fees. Moses, appreciate that. Lakers 3-1 today. They go end it. I told you guys, I said a sweep, and that might have been too aggressive, but, you know, the Lakers are too good. Golden State, they don't know what's up. Klay Thompson made some bad, well, he made one big mistake last game. Should not have taken that three that he did. It was a very contested three, and Lonnie Walker caught on fire. But still, Lakers are too good. Now, it'll be interesting when Denver wins. Can the Lakers handle Jokic? Because Jokic is just, like, insane. Eggs still expensive? Yes, although they're not crazy expensive. But definitely, you're not going to find 99-cent dozen eggs anymore. Shout out George from Philippines. Well, would a bigger block size help too? Yes, Brent, but that's not in the works. That's not on the table. I've never seen Costco so slow since COVID started. 3 weeks now. Open gas pump and checkout. I think inflation catching up to people. I have noticed that. A lot of places. Oh man, I got a giant spider on my monitor here. It's kind of scary. Crush it with my bare hands. Okay, I got it. Got it, guys. Yeah. Now that you mentioned Costco, it is, yeah, it's not that busy. But I usually go during the week. I hate doing anything on the weekends because that's when everyone's out. So I do all my shopping and everything during the week, during the middle of the day. So there's like no lines anyways. We need to default and start getting back to a gold-backed fiat. I mean, it's better than what we have now, where there's no standard at all, and they can do whatever they want. Yeah, before, you need to have a certain amount of gold reserves in order to print money. Now that that rule has been removed, you could print an infinite amount of money without reserves. So, yeah, I would say that's a better system than what we have now, for sure. $411 Business Network says, ChatGPT says, DCA with Bitcoin is best late on Sunday nights when average prices are lowest. I don't know. I think if I'm going off the top of my head, I do remember a lot of Sunday nights where it kind of just goes down and then Monday it recovers. There may be some truth to that. I made a mistake sending Gala Kronos Network to Coinbase. Did I lose it? I don't know. Kronos is not. Gala exists on Kronos? Is it a wrap version of Gala? Gala is ERC, right? That doesn't even make any sense. You can always open a. If you're sending from an incompatible chain, then it's probably locked somewhere. You know, Coinbase would probably resend it back if you open a support ticket. But whether they get to the support ticket anytime soon, I don't know. See, that's another reason why. Okay, error 2369. That's the reason why you need to be not only be careful, but there's products out there that actually helps with this, to check the network you're sending to check the address, right? Normally, if you're doing between chains, it will warn you, but there's certain instances where that could happen. But someone like RX Wallet, I've been talking a lot about RX Wallet, but they have that feature built in, so you can't really make that mistake. It checks all the contracts, it checks all the chains, right? Checks the addresses, and it'll warn you, and it'll stop you if you're going to make a mistake, right? So you might want to check out RX Wallet. Absolutely free, better version of a browser wallet than even MetaMask. Caroline, have I heard of Bambi meme token? I cannot confirm or deny that I've heard of them. I hear a lot of things these days. Alibaba is working on Avalanche. Yes, well, their cloud. Supposedly Amazon is. Avalanche is talking to a lot of major cloud providers. Where are they? Struggle a little bit for the last 90 days. A lot of all struggled last 90 days. Sheep, look at, with all the enthusiasm around meme coins, Sheep has really not gotten any traction. In fact, they have been getting weaker and weaker and weaker. I had this, I kind of came up with this after talking to Floki the other day. It's like you have guys like Sheeb and Floki that are trying to, build something, right? And I've said this too. I like Sheeb more than Doge because they're actually trying to get out of the meme coin game and trying to build utility, build real usage, and get dApps to come aboard, which is great and all. But then if you think about it, it loses its meme-ness, right? Then it just becomes a legit project, which is great and all, and it can sustain itself with utility. But, the meme-ness of it goes away, right? And you could argue, do meme coins really need utility? Well, I guess if you get to the point where you're so big, you're like a, multi-billion-dollar, corporation size, then yeah, you need to build utility. But a lot of these, I feel like after they start building utility, they lose their meme-ness and they lose all traction. You look at Dogecoin, the greatest example. Dogecoin is still sitting in top 10 with no utility at all. Zero utility. It's still the biggest. Still the biggest. How about Monkey's token? I mean, don't super chat me about various meme token guys. Meme tokens are exactly that. They're memes, and they could do very well, and they could also not do well. So it's better not to put everything into it. If you go take a chance, you go have some fun, you want to risk it, great, do it in small amounts, and it works out great, right? But meme coins, all the new ones, I mean, there's no utility. It's just all hype. It's just a matter of race against time to see who could grab the most wallets and users and build up that community. And if you could do so like Pepe, you could get a massive, massive run, right? I mean, but if you're trying to measure the fundamentals of meme coins, it's hard. They all do the same thing. You lock like 95% in liquidity pool, and you lock 5% in a treasury or something, right? And that's pretty much it. And it's a fair sale. There's no airdrops, no pre-launch. Everyone is able to buy at the same time, but it takes literally 15 minutes now these days to launch your own coin. There's videos of how to do it. You could do it in 15 minutes. It's not difficult. What cold wallet? If you're talking about a true cold wallet, then you go with Ledger or Trezor. Those two. There's others, but I like Ledger, but I know a lot of people like Trezor, so either one of those. Okay? There's hot wallets that also good, right? Browser-based wallet, mobile wallets. There's a lot out there. Bitcoin is still holding pretty good. U.S. market still green. Let's see. Some of the banks, Coinbase in the 60s again. That's good. Riot up 10% today. 12s. That's good. What about like Tesla? Tesla is up 172, 173. That's good. So far, so good. But this inflation reading was underwhelming, to be honest. It's better than expectation, so we'll take that. But underwhelming. Speaking of, where's Pepe? I think Pepe bottomed out. Let's see. Let's go out. Seems to have kind of bottomed out, right? We'll see. We'll see if it could gain its momentum again. If it can hold, I remember Sheeb did the same thing. Sheeb pumped up astronomically, then it kind of came down, hovered, and then it came back up again. Pepe has a chance to do so if the guys behind the team know actually what to do, right? A lot of these guys, they have no idea. This is the first time they create. I'm sure it's the same thing with the guys behind Pepe. It could just be some rich whales or NFT whales or something. Rumors are they were started by like these NFT whales and they have a whole bunch of money and influence. But, you know, can they sustain this? Can they figure out a way to make sure that people don't just all sell and leave? If they play their cards right, you know, Pepe will stay being the third largest meme coin. If you think about it, it's amazing. The third largest meme coin because the first two are so big already. Flama, have you heard of the son of Shiba Inu? It went to 1.5 million early Sheep core teams. No, I don't believe any of that, okay? All these projects are banking on, oh, you know, the guys behind Sheep started this or that, or Shaitoshi or whatever his name is started this and that. It's all rumors and speculation. Ryoshi left. No one knows where he is. So, no, I've not heard of it. Am I bullish on Chainlink? I'm neutral on Chainlink. It's not one that rises up quickly. And I like L1s, L2s more. Parents have a meeting with Fidelity for BDC thoughts. First of all, Mike, I'm a bad speller too, but your spelling's extremely bad. Second of all, Fidelity does offer Bitcoin trading, Bitcoin custody. They do a lot. So good. It's good. Good overall. All right, guys. Let's conclude. Overall, you know what? Today we'll take it. Today's a green day. Bitcoin up slightly. The entire market cap up slightly. We got somewhat of a decent reading, although it's nothing to be excited about. It's underwhelming. Energy came down as expected, but everything else is still at elevated prices, so I don't know. But I guess we'll take it. But ultimately, everything that's happening, right, makes you want to just load up more on sats and load up more on Bitcoin. So, smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.